Chucky, the killer doll, and I dig it!
Hi, welcome back to my channel, and if this is your very first time watching one of my videos, welcome to my channel in general. We've got loads of stuff to cover in today's video, so let's get into it. So we've had some pretty cool announcements in the last 2 weeks, and the first one that I'll cover is the IP scare zones. So the first one is Killer Klowns from Outer Space. This one has been rumoured for years and years and years, and now that we're having an 80s themed event, this is the absolute perfect time to do it. This one's going to be so cool, so fun. I can't wait to see cotton candy cocoons. I can't wait to see all of the cool props that we're going to have, like a spaceship circus tent or huge balloons with bodies inside of them. I'm really hoping that we're going to get some really cool themed drinks in this area too. I think overall this is going to be a super fun area, and I think it's definitely going to be a fan favourite. Next up is Revenge of Chucky, which again, Chucky is someone that's heavily rumoured yearly at this point, and it's going to be so good to have him back at the event represented in his own scare zone, because the last time that we saw him was in All Night Die-In at Halloween Horror Nights 25, where we saw him with other horror icons like Freddy, Jason and Carrie. And this sounds like it's going to be a really cool scare zone. So the description of this one is that it's going to be a festival of toys, and Chucky is going to be commanding his new minions to carve up some horror. I'm really hoping that we're going to see some maybe Easter eggs of toys that we've had represented at Halloween Horror Nights before. I also think it'd be really cool if we could have Chucky as a puppet somehow, rather than having somebody who's a little bit shorter playing him and wearing a Chucky costume. If we could have an actual puppeteer moving Chucky around. I don't know how they'd pull it off in a scare zone. I think something like that might work better in a house, or maybe if there was going to be a show of some kind, but if they could pull it off, I think it would look incredible. And I'm also super hoping that we're going to see Tiffany somewhere in the scare zone, because I absolutely love Tiffany. So the week before our scare zone announcement, we had our second original house announcement, and that was Slaughter Cinema, which is a B-movie mashup house. And along with the announcement, they released some of these grindhouse style movie posters, and I think they're absolutely gorgeous. I'm so in love with them, and I'm super hoping that they're going to sell them at the event, because I will buy all of them. So the description of this one is that we're going to start off in a movie theatre snack bar where they'll pump in the scent of popcorn, which will be super cool. It'll definitely add to the movie theatre atmosphere, and then we're going to see movie trailers of what we're about to witness in the house. This just sounds so cool. So we're going to see the gut-strewn pumpkin patch in Pumpkin Guts. We're going to avoid being snacks for the Amazon cannibals from Planet Hell. We're going to come across werewolf bikers, deadly barbers, a swamp yeti, and of course we're going to see the return of the giant baby heads in Beast Baby. But I'm just really hoping that we're not going to get the dirty nappy smell from Dollhouse of the Damned. We can definitely all give that one a miss. This house just really sounds like it's right up my street, and it's definitely number one out of everything that's been announced so far on my hype list. I can't wait to see it. Now if we look a little bit closer at the posters, we'll see some cool Halloween Horror Nights references in the credits at the bottom. We have directed by Jack Schmidt, Jack Schmidt Presents, Jack in the Box Pictures. We have a cool nod to Mike Aiello and Patrick Braillard. We have Albert Kane, who of course is the caretaker. And then we see executive producer Jack Schmidt and worldwide distribution by JCK BCK, or Jack Back. Is this just a cool nod to past icons, or do Jack's multiple mentions mean something completely different? Let me know what you guys think in the comments below. So next up, I want to talk about the Horror Night Nightmares speculation map. Now this isn't the true map. This hasn't been released by Halloween Horror Nights. This is a fan-made speculation map, but these guys tend to be pretty accurate every year, and the more announcements that come out, the more that I believe the map. So I'm going to put a picture of the map up on the screen now, and there's one speculated house in particular that has piqued my interest, and that is Carnival. I spoke about it a little bit on an episode of Universe After Dark. So on the podcast I spoke about how I feel that Carnival would really work as Jack's backstory house, which would tie in very, very nicely with the fact that Jack was mentioned so many times on those Slaughter Cinema posters. And my imagination might just be running wild here, but I feel like this could really make sense. So if you're not completely familiar with Jack's backstory, basically in the 1920s, Jack was performing with a travelling freak show called Dr. Oddfellows, and he basically had murdered a whole bunch of children, and he had admitted what he'd done to Dr. Oddfellow because he thought he was going to be captured and arrested, and Dr. Oddfellow had him murdered. They hid his body along with the kids' bodies in the House of Horrors inside of the travelling freak show carnival. That was the end of Jack. Until the 1980s, which is another reason why I feel like this fits so well. So in the 1980s, a BBC camera crew was doing a documentary on American dark rides, and they stumble upon the House of Horrors and they find Jack's box. They move the handle on Jack's box, which obviously starts playing this creepy music, and out pops Jack's dead body. This could work very well as a house. Like, really, I feel like if this isn't what's going to be inside this carnival house, this is going to be such a missed opportunity. You can read more about Jack's backstory if you don't already know it, and how he ended up at Universal Studios, and how we ended up with the Jack that we know and love. If you just have a little Google, you'll find the whole backstory. And it's really interesting, and honestly, it would really work. But what do you think? Do you think that this is a possibility? Do you think that my imagination is just going wild? Do you think it's just wishful thinking on my part? I mean, we're all always very desperate to have Jack back. We absolutely love him. But would it be that we'll have too much going on all in one event if we have Jack back, along with Stranger Things and Trick or Treat and Killer Klowns and Chucky? Will Jack just be better used in a year when we don't have as many cool IPs? I don't know. I want to know what you guys think. Am I crazy? So if we work our way anti-clockwise on the map, we will come to the Shrek building, which says Halloween. Now, at first, I thought it was a dead cert that we were going to get the new Halloween at this year's event. And I was very convinced that on the day that the new trailer was going to drop, that we'd also get a reveal that Halloween was going to be at Halloween Horror Nights 28. When that didn't happen, I kind of started to think, well, maybe we will get a different Halloween house that's not the new film, that will maybe be Halloween 3 or Halloween 4, or maybe we will get Halloween incorporated into a Blumhouse house because Blumhouse are making the new Halloween film. But when I saw that this was rumoured to go into the Shrek building, I definitely started leaning more towards the possibility of Halloween 3 or Halloween 4. I might be totally wrong here. I might be looking at it like just because it's the Shrek building. I feel like it's the kind of space that would work better for a smaller IP. But if we have things like Trick or Treat and Stranger Things taking up the big spaces, then maybe it's right that it would fit in there. I don't know. Again, what do you guys think? Do you think we're going to see Halloween at all? Do you think it's going to be the new Halloween? Do you think Halloween 3 or 4? Is the Silver Shamrock song stuck in your head now? Because it's been in mine for the last 2 weeks straight and I cannot get it out.
Happy, happy Halloween, 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 happy, happy Halloween, Silver Shamrock.
Next up we have Trick or Treat, which has already been announced, but this map shows that it would be in the Parade building, which is where Ash vs Evil Dead was last year, going through the ET queue. Next to that is CD, which is an alien themed original, and that again is in another Parade building in the Kids Zone area. I am really liking this idea. I love aliens, I love 80s films, I like the idea of an original concept alien house. I don't really know what to expect from it. Like, I can't picture anything in my head that I'd really like. I'm just imagining lots of buttons everywhere, really elaborate sets, really cool costumes. I think this one again, well, without even knowing anything about it, is pretty high up on my hype list. If this is true and this is what we're actually going to be getting. If we move along to the tents where we had Hive and Scarecrow last year, we have Slaughter Cinema and Dead Exposure. Both of them have been announced already, and Slaughter Cinema definitely #1 on my hype list, and I feel like these two will definitely work really well in the tents. Again, moving around anti-clockwise, we have Academy of Villains in the old home of Bill and Ted in the Fear Factor stage. I've spoke about this quite a bit on the podcast too, and how I'm feeling a little bit torn about that location for Academy of Villains. On the one hand, I feel like they definitely deserve a weatherproof place to perform. So we haven't really seen everything that Academy of Villains have to offer, because both years that they've been at Horror Nights, they've been impacted in some way by a hurricane. I feel like they'll make it work either way, and I think in a sit-down setting in the Fear Factor stage, it will be more of a show, which really excites me, because even going back to Halloween Horror Nights 26, when they were doing things like the shadow dancing and they were doing all these kinds of elaborate things, that could work incredibly well. On the other hand, I feel like the vibe of Academy of Villains works really well in a stand-up concert type environment. I definitely enjoy standing and dancing around while they're dancing on stage. I know that's how my friends feel too. Either way, I really love Academy of Villains, and I'm going to watch them regardless of where they're playing. If we circle back around to the New York area of the park, where we had The Fallen and Dead Waters last year, we have Poltergeist, which, if this is true, I think will be absolutely incredible. I think it's a classic. Everybody knows what Poltergeist is, everybody's seen it. If they haven't seen it, they've at least heard of it, and I think it would work incredibly well. I had the same kind of feeling about Poltergeist as I did about Exorcist when Exorcist was announced, and that's, I don't know exactly how they're going to do it, but I know that they're going to do it amazingly and they're going to pull it off, and it's going to be incredible to walk through the scenes of the film. So I super hope that this is true and that we will be getting Poltergeist at Halloween Horror Nights this year. The final house on the map is Wizard of Oz themed house. This sounds super cool. We've had Wizard of Oz represented at Horror Nights before, but I think this could be a very cool house. As long as we're not going into any kind of 3D houses, I'm happy. I appreciate that some people like 3D houses. I am not one of those people. I do like the tunnel. I think it's a cool effect. However, I don't believe that we need 3D houses, because they're not actually 3D houses anyway. They are just black houses with UV paint and a whole bunch of black lights, and the 3D glasses just make you feel a little bit funky. And I just feel like I like to see the sets, and I like to see the costumes, and I like to see the hard work that you've put in, and I just don't feel like a 3D house is needed. So as long as we're steering away from that, I think it's going to be a cool house. However, you will notice that American Horror Story is absent from the map. Now, when I was recording the Universal After Dark podcast, I had said, well, maybe what if this isn't a Wizard of Oz house at all? What if its codename is Oz, and it's codenamed Oz because the kid in American Horror Story Cult is called Oz? So what if we are in fact getting an American Horror Story house, and this has just been a code name and someone's heard it and then they've decided, oh hey, we're getting a Wizard of Oz house? I don't know. Again, it's my imagination just going wild with itself. I imagine that we will get an American Horror Story house again in the future if we're not getting one this year. And honestly, I'm a little sad that we're not getting American Horror Story according to this map, because I do love American Horror Story. I love every season, but with the announcement of the new season being a crossover between Murder House and Coven, maybe we are waiting for that one, because that one would definitely make a really cool house. Moving on to the scare zones, we have the Harvest at the front of the park, which I believe is where we said that we thought it was going to be in the last video when we covered the scare zones. I don't remember whether that was announced that's where it was going to be, or whether we just assumed that it was going to be there, but either way it seems like everybody else is assuming it too. We have Vamp 85 in the New York area, which I was surprised about. I did definitely expect it to be in the Hollywood area again, but the New York area definitely has a lot more space of props. If we're going to have the giant countdown ball for the New Year's Eve party, and if we're maybe going to have some more elaborate set designs, then this area will definitely work better. Then we have Killer Klowns from Outer Space next to where Starbucks and the Vault Shop are. I definitely expected this one to be a little further into the San Francisco area where we had Dead Man's Wharf and Invasion. Definitely was expecting it to be there, but I'm imagining that Killer Klowns will maybe utilise Sting Alley as part of the scare zone. I hope so anyway. I feel like Sting Alley is very underutilised at Halloween Horror Nights, so if that's what the plan is, down for it. Then we have Twisted Tradition in the Central Park area. This one was definitely announced to be in this area when they released the names of the scare zones. So again, it'll work super well in this area. Scare zones like that always do. And then finally we have Chucky, which will be in the Hollywood area. Now you might notice that there is no scare zones at all past San Francisco. I don't know whether this is to do with the new nighttime show that they're going to be doing, like whether they will have things out and in the way so that we can't have a scare zone there, or whether those areas are going to be populated with Roman hordes. So usually it doesn't say on the map that there's going to be a Roman horde of clowns in the Simpsons area, but they're just there. So it could be that we're going to have maybe multiple Roman hordes that will be filling up all of that space. I have no idea, but there's not long for us to wait and see. Anyway, I think it's about 70 days now until Horror Night. What do you guys think? Why are we only seeing scare zones in that front half of the park? Not that we usually see them like creeping all the way to the back anyway, because we don't. The only real difference is that one scare zone has moved from one side of San Francisco and just sneaked its way back a little bit to the front of San Francisco. Realistically, if that's how I think about it, that's the only real difference. What do you guys think of the announcements? What do you think of the speculation map? How do you think all of this fits in with the 80s theme? Let me know in the comments down below. I absolutely love hearing what you guys think. I love you guys interacting with me in the comments, because you know, you guys listen to me for like 10, 15, 20 minutes and I barely ever get to hear your input. So definitely make sure that you comment and let me know. Also, make sure that you're subscribed if you haven't already, because there's going to be a whole bunch of new Halloween Horror Nights videos coming out. There's going to be more trip videos from my last trip to Orlando, and then obviously this September and October I will be back in Orlando for Halloween Horror Nights, filming every single thing that I get up to. So if you're subscribed, you'll get a notification for all of those videos. But that's it for this video, guys. I will see you in the next one. Bye bye.